Hi there, welcome to Fast Track. I'm Thalia Pellegrini. Now, with recent swine flu concerns, some air passengers have taken to wearing protective masks when they fly, especially as travelling on planes is considered something of an infection risk. And pandemics aside, some people think that cabin air is either swarming with germs or not as fresh as it might be. Well, one company thinks it may have the answer. Simon Hancock's been finding out more.
Many frequent air travellers strongly suspect that the sniffles they routinely seem to get after long flights might just be related to being cooped up for hours in a metal tube, sharing cabin air with hundreds of other people.
I think people rightly, just by common sense, would say that an aeroplane, especially on a long-haul flight, is a pretty crowded environment with a lot of people in it, so it would be a great place to catch diseases.
The debate has long raged about air quality on planes, but whatever assurances were given by the airlines during the recent swine flu and SARS outbreaks, passengers certainly weren't taking any chances. Meanwhile, belief is growing that faulty engines can lead to so-called fume events, where toxic chemical compounds are sucked into the cabin along with fresh air, causing health problems. All ultimately add to the suspicion, albeit one that is disputed, that germs, chemical compounds and viruses might be circulating around the cabin, breathed in by passengers. Airlines and plane manufacturers counter that their air filtration systems are up to the job and play down such suggestion. Boeing, for instance, says,
"It is our belief that air quality on airplanes is healthy and safe and that health and safety standards are met."
It describes its filtration systems as
very effective at getting rid of bacteria and viruses.
But a company in Stockport in the north of England, with its roots making air filtration systems for the healthcare industry, has always thought air could be improved.
We know that if you get on board a certain aircraft with certain operators these days, they don't like to... Well, they certainly don't serve peanuts anymore, like you used to get on and get a small packet off them. And they ask you to refrain from opening peanuts because of the risks associated with nut allergies and anaphylactic shock. And the theory being that the nut oil could be spread around the whole of the cabin by the air handling system, by the environmental control system. Now, if nut oil, which is a big chunky element, can go around like that, then I'm sure that pathogens, germs and bacteria that are sort of 5 micron, 4 micron, right the way down to 0.005, yeah, I mean, they're small. They're going to go around the aircraft as well.
For years now, Quest International, in conjunction with British Aerospace, has been developing and laboratory testing what it thinks could be the next generation of air management systems. It is now beginning to sell this technology. It claims its system can strip out 100% of any bacteria, viruses or toxins from air circulation, leaving essentially sterile air. This is the visual demonstration the company has been using at recent air shows. When switched on, these smoke particles are quickly eradicated. While these are far larger than, say, a swine flu virus or toxic chemical compound, laboratory tests show it has no problem with these either.
This is actually an inline decontamination unit, and this is broadly similar to that we've got on board the aircraft in each of the air handling channels. We would take air in this end of the equipment. Now, that air is made up of molecules that has got all sorts of contamination in there. It could be low-level pollutant from automotive, it could be germs, it could be the swine flu, it could be any form of bacteria or mould. It's what the atmosphere is made up of, yeah? And we take that air in, that dirty, contaminant-laden air, we draw it through the system. In here we have what is known as the close couple field. It is our patented technology. And that field is an electrical field. It generates a huge destabilising effect through the application of an electron storm, electron avalanche. What basically happens is the disruptive forces of this electrical field will just rupture the cell walls and the bacteria dies. And then out from the field, we just get an exit of cleaned air.
Already the devices are being retrofitted to several airlines' fleets of Avro RJ aircraft, and 8 are being tested on Boeing 757s with major European operators. Over the next few years, similar devices designed for other models of aircraft will be tested and rolled out. The manufacturers expect demand will be high. They believe Air Manager represents a step change in this field of technology. And for some passengers, knowing that such a system is on board will make a big difference.
It is needed. It's really badly needed. I don't have a real fear of catching flu on board an aeroplane. I could catch that on a bus. I could catch it in the office. I don't have a fear of it. I'd rather not get it. It would be a huge inconvenience, and I think that's what most people feel. But I do have a genuine fear that I will be in one of these fume events where very highly heated oil fumes get into the cabin, and that could affect my brain for the rest of my life. And that actually gives me the heebie-jeebies. Now, I know, because I've been in aviation for such a very long time now, that this doesn't happen on aeroplanes very often, so I don't really want to scaremonger over this one. But we are talking probably about 1 in every 1,000 flights. Now, that's unacceptable for something that you can do something about.
IATA and Air Manager's creators both say that a plane is no worse for the health than any other form of transport. IATA says it will be monitoring Air Manager's progress. For the time being, it will be individual airlines who decide if it's worth investing in. But if the test results continue to back up the claims, could they afford to be without it?
In the ever-competitive world of aviation, one thing that never goes out of fashion is one-upmanship. And true to form, one early adopter of this technology has already designed a marketing campaign based on how much healthier it is to fly with them over their rivals. The era of the air war, alongside the more traditional price war, is upon us.
On a recent Air India flight, a Buddhist monk reportedly opened an emergency door to get some fresh air. A sentiment, if perhaps not an action, business travellers the world over might well empathise with. If the next generation of air filtration systems does live up to its billing, it could be that as well as the more serious problems technology like this addresses, road warriors could have a more comfortable atmosphere to travel in and be more definitively assured that plane flu is no longer a workaday worry.